the burning can't go fast enough.
The smoke behind me, it's been billowing constantly from all the bodies that are burning. And these crates over here, they're all full of yellow body bags.
Workers later opened those metal containers here at a major Beijing crematorium, revealing rows of body bags as they load more coffins in the freezing cold temperatures. Crematoriums in major cities are swamped as COVID sweeps through the country, but China has only reported a small handful of COVID deaths since reopening late last month.
I spoke to a man earlier who said that his close friend passed away from a fever. Normally the hospital would hold the body, but the hospital told him that there were too many dead bodies. He said he's been waiting here for hours and he still has no idea if his friend's body can even get cremated today. There is a long line of cars that snakes around this whole area waiting to get into that cremation area. I'm in the parking lot right now and it's completely full of cars. I'm speaking here because there are many security guards patrolling this entire area.
Grieving family members clutch photos of the deceased. Some tell us off camera they know their loved ones died from COVID. Busy shops nearby sell funerary items with paper money, clothes, houses, and animals used in burial traditions strewn on the side of the road. A woman who sells flowers says she's running out of stock. A man selling urns says business has jumped. Even the convenience store and the crematorium grounds is getting busier. Normally you aren't so busy, right? I ask. The man nods and tells me that normally there's nobody here. And it's not just in Beijing. Social media video shows crowded crematoriums and funeral homes around the country. At this funeral home in Jinan, the man is saying it's going insane. Here it is packed with cars. Vans carrying bodies stretch all the way into the distance in front of this crematorium in Sijiazhuang.
This is a COVID-designated hospital in Beijing. There's been a steady stream of elderly patients in wheelchairs being led into this hospital. I spoke to a man who's been waiting outside for his elderly family member who he said is very sick with a high fever from COVID. But he said this hospital, it's running out of bed space.
I asked the worker outside of this hospital, did a lot of people die here? Yes, every day, he responds. I ask, is it all because of COVID? Yes, people with underlying conditions, he says. China is now going through the painful reopening the rest of the world has already gone through, but it's not sharing the same data. The government now says it's narrowing the definition of COVID-19 deaths only to patients who died of respiratory failure directly caused by the virus. People we spoke to at the crematoriums may have said their loved ones died of COVID, but their deaths and so many others won't be counted in the official tally. Much of the pandemic, Chinese state TV was showing America's overwhelmed hospitals and crematoriums repeatedly. The message was, look at China's low death toll in comparison. It's proof that China's system is superior. But even after reopening, China is still claiming the death toll is low, that less than 10 people have died of COVID this month in total. So amid skepticism over that number, the government says it's changed the way it counts COVID deaths. Their method, it goes against the World Health Organization's guidelines and will severely underestimate the true death toll, Aaron.
Suggests that China could have nearly 1 million COVID deaths following this abrupt change from the country's strict and severe zero COVID strategy. Is China underprepared for this wave of infections and deaths?
Well, that is the resounding agreement from health experts that China has basically squandered the last few years while it was enforcing zero COVID. It did not boost up its hospital capacity enough or stock up on enough antivirals. And so now the country is scrambling to do all of these things. But that reopening, it was abrupt. It was unexpected. It was like virtually overnight. This country went from harsh lockdowns to just let it rip. And we are seeing hospitals coming under major pressure. Fever and cold medicine is running out. The local versions of Tylenol and Advil here are pretty much impossible to get at drugstores. And some local governments are even resorting to rationing the amount of medicine for sale down to the exact number of pills.